partner. So we have to say, I think, that no level of violence is acceptable, whether it's from men or from women, but the data tells us that 90% of the victims of domestic violence are in fact female.
It's also been discussed that there's New South Wales Police have brought in a pro-arrest policy around domestic violence situations. Do you think that's also affecting the numbers that we see?
I do think that is the case, and as I travel on the listening tour, I'm seeing what's happening in other states. Tasmania's done exactly that as well. It's a pro-arrest policy, and they've also underpinned it with the fact that no violence is acceptable, irrespective of where it's coming from.
So a little about us getting to know you personally. What things do you see that aren't on the gender equality agenda in Australia but should be?
Look, I think it's interesting because as I go around, these are things that people are telling me as well. But I think one of the things that needs to be there is the issue around retirement savings for women. Fact is that 50% of women in the age group 45 to 59 have less than $8,000 in retirement savings, and that's at least only 1/3 of what men have. So men have 3 times as much. So there is very much a disparity there, and I'm talking to many, many women who actually have had, they've had a comfortable or modest existence while they've been working, but they are so fearful about living in poverty when they retire, and the fact is that we are all living longer. So I think that's a really significant issue that's coming up. The other issue, which I'm really surprised about, is the issue around sexual harassment. And when I came into this role, I said to my staff, but what person on the planet does not understand that sexual harassment is unlawful? Either doesn't understand or doesn't know, because there are quite a few of them, I think. And young women particularly are telling me their experiences in either their first or their second job, where clearly inappropriate and unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature has, had a really negative impact for some women. In fact, one woman in South Australia said to me, she said, look, I know if my uncle did it, it's not okay, but maybe if it's my boss or my manager. And I just thought, how sad is that we, maybe have, a whole huge number of young women who are either in their first or second jobs who really don't know what their rights are around sexual harassment, and that we have employers out there who still don't understand that it's unlawful. So that's a really significant issue, I think, that we'll be taking up as well.
And you've mentioned that utilisation of technology is key in spreading a global message. What do you mean by that? What exactly does that mean?
Part of my background, and I've worked as a lawyer, but more recently as a technologist. So I've worked to educate others around how the internet's changing every facet of our life, not just our professional life but our private life, and how we can use the internet to educate and connect with people. So it's been absolutely fundamental to the work that I've done for many years, and I think it's so important that we utilise the technology that's part of everyone's lives to create and engage in a global gender equality initiative. Because I came back from United Nations last week, and it seems to me that Australia has been sitting back. We've been observing but not leading around gender equality on the global stage. And we have the talented women, we have absolutely the commitment. We need to re-engage again around a gender equality agenda, not just here in Australia as a country, but also globally.
Vibewire.net and Efestival of Ideas would like to thank our major sponsor, Cisco, our supporters, the Victorian Department of Planning and Community Development and National Youth Week 2008, as well as our panel partners, the City of Melbourne and the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission.